everyone. Today I am here to discuss with you about the changes around us or the changes which occur in our daily life. It looks like magic, but basically change is a law of nature. Everything around us has to undergo change gradually with time. So here, first of all, I'm going to discuss with you about the general classification of changes, the changes which occur in nature, and how we can classify them, that I'm going to discuss with you. And then one classification we have in detail, that is the classification on the basis of physical and chemical properties. So physical and chemical properties, changes can be classified into two types, physical change and chemical change. So physical and chemical changes we are going to discuss in detail. Now, first of all, I'm going to discuss with you the general classification of changes or the type of changes which occur around us. So first of all, changes can be classified into two types on the basis of whether they can be changed again or they can be reversed back or not. So here, first classification is the change can be classified into two types. One is known as reversible change and the second one is known as irreversible change. Reversible, as the name suggests, reversible changes are those changes which can be reversed back by reversing the conditions. By changing the conditions, that change can be reversed back. For example, if we have ice, if we want to change this ice into water, what we will do? We will take this ice out of fridge and we will keep it on table. And when we keep it on table, slowly and slowly, by getting temperature from the atmosphere, this ice will change into water. Now again, if I want to do another magic, what I will do? I want to change this water into ice. What I will do? Now here, by heating it or by taking it out from the refrigerator, ice can be converted into water. Now reverse of this, as I have told you in the definition, reversible change. So now water, if I want to convert it into ice, what I will do? I will take that water and I will keep it inside the fridge. So generally we can say that ice on heating can be changed into water and water on cooling can be converted into ice. So this is how we can say that changes are reversible. They can be reversed back by changing the conditions. Those changes are known as reversible changes. Now second, we have the type of change in the first classification. Second change is irreversible change. Ir means not. Reversible means the change which cannot be reversed back. Those changes which cannot be reversed back by reversing the condition are known as irreversible changes. For example, if I am having milk, so I want to convert this milk into curd. So when I will change this milk into curd by the process called curdling of milk. Curdling of milk is an example which cannot be reversed back by reversing the condition. So for example, if I am having curd, now I want to change this curd into milk. I cannot change this curd into milk because once the curd is formed, it cannot be reversed back by reversing the conditions. So thus we can say that curdling of milk is an irreversible change. Another example, when seed will change into plant, growing of a plant or germination of seed, that is also known as a type of irreversible change. Why? Because once the seed change into plant, that plant, it can give rise to new seeds, but it will not change into the seed or the seed from which it has originated. So thus we can say that those type of changes are known as irreversible changes. Now second classification we have, the classification or the changes can be classified into two types on the basis of whether the change repeats itself or it does not repeat itself. On the basis of that, changes can be classified into two types. Number one is known as periodic change and second is known as non-periodic change. So what is the meaning of periodic change? We have our periods every day in class. So for example, if today you people are having chemistry period in the morning at 8 o'clock. So next Monday, for example, today is Monday and you have at 8 o'clock you're having chemistry period. So next Monday again you will have chemistry period at 8 o'clock. So thus we can say that the change which occur after regular interval of time, those changes or that change is known as periodic change. For example, to and fro motion of pendulum. To and fro motion of pendulum. What is the meaning of to and fro motion? For example, this is a pendulum. Now once it will move in this direction and then it will come back. Now again it will go here, again it will come back. So this type of motion is known as to and fro motion. So to and fro motion of pendulum is a type of periodic change. And the other example is phases of moon. Phases of moon. So this is also a type of change which can be seen again and again, which can be repeated again and again after regular interval of time. That change is known as periodic change. Now second type of change is known as non-periodic change. The change which does not occur after regular interval of time. That change is known as non-periodic change. For example, melting of ice. Melting of ice. So it is not a type of periodic change. Why? Because if the temperature will be more, then suddenly ice will change into water, ice will melt. But if the temperature will be low, then what will happen? It will take time to change into ice. So there is no fixed interval of changing ice into water. So thus we can say that melting of ice is an example of non-periodic change. Now third type of classification, or the general third type of classification of changes we have. Number one is known as desirable change. Other one is known as undesirable change. So this classification is on the basis of whether the change is useful for us or it is not useful for us. On the basis of that, changes can be classified into again two types. Desirable change. So from the name you can identify desirable. Desirable means which occur according to our will. So those changes which are useful for us, those changes are known as desirable changes. And the changes which are not useful for us, they do not occur according to our will, those changes are known as undesirable changes. For example, if we talk about curdling of milk, we know we love to eat curd. So curdling of milk, it is according to our desire. So that is why this change is known as desirable change. Growth of a plant, that is also a type of desirable change because it also occur according to our will. And that is useful for us. So that is why desirable changes, the changes which are useful for us are known as desirable changes. And the second one is undesirable changes. The changes which are not useful for us and they do not occur according to our will. Those changes are known as undesirable change. So the best example is spoiling of food. Okay, so spoiling of food, if food spoils, then that food we cannot eat. So thus we can say that it is not according to our will. So those changes which do not occur according to our will or the changes which are not useful for us, those changes are known as undesirable changes. Now here I am going to give you one example. So one example is decomposition of dead animals. This example is very, very important. So try to understand it. Decomposition of dead animals. So if in paper they will give you example, decomposition of dead and decaying matter. So if they will write it in open, so you know that in open decomposition of dead and decaying animal, it is not useful. So we can say that that is a type of undesirable change. But if they will write decomposition of dead and decaying matter, okay, they will not mention the term that in open, then you will write it is a type of desirable change because everything for example, after the death of animals, they have to undergo decomposition. Then only they will be circulated in the atmosphere. The nutrients will go in the earth or they can be circulated again and again. So that is a type of decomposition of dead and decaying matter. It is a type of desirable change, but when it is not in open. But when it is in open, then it will cause foul smell will come, or it will harm the environment, or it will make environment dirty. So that is why in that case undesirable change we can consider. So if dead and decaying matter in open area, then it is a type of undesirable change. But if in paper question comes decomposition of dead and decaying matter, so that is a type of desirable change. Okay. So because that is also important, decomposition is an important change. But if it is occurring in open, then what it is creating? It is creating problem to the people, those who are living nearby that area. So in that case, that is a type of undesirable change. Spoiling of food is a type of undesirable change. Then rusting of iron, that is a type of undesirable change because iron is being destroyed. When on rusting, iron is being destroyed. So thus we can say that that is also a type of undesirable change. So these are the few changes which we have studied on the basis of general classification of changes. Now, in this case, in the classification only, the fourth type of classification we have, the changes can be classified, or the change can be classified into two types, which is the broad classification, and we are going to discuss here in detail. So changes can be classified into two types on the basis of its physical and chemical properties. So now on the basis of physical properties, for example, change in size, change in shape, change in color. So that we will consider under physical changes. And in the chemical property, if there is a change in chemical composition, if the molecules will change, if the number of atoms will change, that type of change is known as chemical change. So I will discuss here all the points how we can differentiate these changes, and then I will give you a few examples related to these changes. First of all, physical change. Physical change is a type of reversible change. So it is a type of reversible change, and chemical change is a type of irreversible change. So physical change can be converted back into original form, but chemical change, once it is done, it cannot be reversed back into original position. Now second is, it is a type of temporary change, and it is a type of permanent change. For example, ice when changed into water, so it is a type of physical change. Now milk when changed into curd, it is a type of chemical change. So it is permanent. Once the curd is formed, it cannot be converted back into, we cannot convert it back into milk. But if ice will change into water, we can convert this water again into ice. So it is a type of temporary change. It is a type of reversible change. It is chemical change is a type of irreversible change. Once the curd is formed, it cannot be converted back into milk. So it is a type of permanent change. Now third point we have, in case of physical change, no new substance is formed. But in case of chemical change, a new substance is formed. So how we can say that a new substance is formed? Here we can say that ice is having formula H2O. Water is also having formula H2O. So we can say that there is no formation of new substance. But in case of chemical change, new substance is formed. How? In case of milk contain lactose sugar. What it contain? It contain lactose sugar. But in case of curd contain lactic acid. So sugar will change into acid. Sugar generally they are sweet in taste. Acids generally they are sour in taste. So thus we can say that when lactose convert into lactic acid again cannot be converted back into lactose. So we can say that lactic acid, a new substance is formed which is having different formula as that of the reactant. So thus we can say that new substances are formed during the chemical change. Now fourth point is, whenever there is a change, physical change occur, there is no change in mass of the substance. No change in mass of the substance. There is no change in mass of the substance. The mass of the substance remains same. But in case of chemical change, whenever chemical change occurs, the mass of the substance increases. How? I will give you one example. If I am writing, for example, here also I will give you the example of physical change. How there is no change in mass. For example, if I am taking 5 gram of ice, when I will change this ice into water, I will get 5 gram of water. So the mass of the substance before and after the change will remain same. Now here, if I am taking iron, fresh iron, I am keeping it in open in the presence of oxygen and in the presence of water, it will change into Fe2O3.XH2O. Now this is known as rusted iron. So rusted iron, first of all, iron, for example, if it is before the reaction, I have taken it, the mass is equal to 5 gram. After the reaction, I will see there is addition of oxygen and water. So the mass of iron nail will change to 8 gram. So thus we can say that during the chemical change, the mass of the reactant will change. It will increase or it will decrease. So thus we can say that these are the various differences between physical and chemical changes. On the basis of these differences, easily we can differentiate these changes. So now again I am repeating, physical change is a reversible change, chemical change is irreversible change. Physical change is temporary change, it can be converted back or it is only for a short span of time, and chemical change is a permanent change, but once it is done, it cannot be reversed back. Now third point is, in case of physical change, there is no formation of new substance, but in case of chemical change, always there is a formation of new substance. Fourth point, in case of physical change, no change in mass after the reaction. So before and after the change, the mass of the substance will remain same. But in case of chemical change, before and after the reaction, the mass of the substance will change. Either it will increase or it will decrease. So these are the differences which you have to keep in mind. It is important. And then in the end, example already I have discussed, melting of ice. This is an example of physical change. Here you can write rusting of iron is an example of chemical change. Hope it is clear to you. Now next I am going to discuss with you in detail about the physical changes. So already I have told you, physical changes are the changes which are due to the physical properties. So if there is a change in the physical property of a substance, that change is known as physical change. So physical property, you know, how we see that substance, how it look like, what is the color, what is the state. All these are considered as physical properties. We are not going to discuss in detail, or we are not going to discuss how that substances are made up of, because that we are going to discuss, that part we are going to discuss in chemical changes. So now here, physical changes, they are having certain examples are there. Number one is glowing of a bulb. So whenever we glow a bulb, it is a type of physical change. How it is a type of physical change? Because it can be reversed back by reversing the condition. By switching off the button, bulb, the glowing bulb, the light of the bulb will vanishes. And then next is thermal expansion of a substance. Thermal means heat, expansion means increase in size. So thermal means in the presence of heat energy, expansion means increase in size, or the volume will increase. Increase in volume, that is called expansion. So whenever we provide heat energy to a substance, it will increase in size. And whenever we reduce or whenever we remove that heat energy, the substance again it will regain its shape. For example, if a metal ball we have, what we will do? We will heat that ball. After heating that ball, what we will see? The size of the ball will increase. And then what we will do next? We will take that ball and we will put that ball in water. When we put in water, again the temperature will come down. So we can say that again the volume of the ball will change. So thus we can say that thermal expansion of a substance, and it is a type of physical change. Now next we have changes in state of matter. For example, ice will change into water. Water will change into water vapor. Again water vapor will change into water, and again it will change into ice. So these are the changes which can be converted back again and again, which can be reversed back again and again. So these changes are known as physical changes. Next we have sublimation. We know that what is sublimation? When a solid substance directly changes to gas. So, and gas directly changes into solid without liquid state. So that situation is known as, that process is known as sublimation. So sublimation, change of naphthalene ball. Once the naphthalene ball, if we take naphthalene ball in a container and we heat it, after heating, we will not open the container, otherwise the fumes will go in the atmosphere. So we will keep it in a container, and then after cooling the vapors, again it will change into naphthalene ball. And another example, you can take the example of ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride, if we cover it from the top and we will heat it, it will change into white fumes. Again by cooling the fumes, again it will change into solid ammonium chloride. So thus that is a type of sublimation, or we can say it can be reversed again and again, it can be regained again and again. So that type of change is known as physical change. Last we have dissolving of a substance into a liquid. For example, if I am having a glass of water, I am dissolving salt in it. Now salt when get dissolved in water, we will not be able to see salt. Okay. Why? Because salt will take the place in between the intermolecular spaces of water. So this salt, after making the solution, what we will do? We will heat it again. And after heating, water will evaporate, and what we will find at the bottom, again we can get that salt from the solution. So after making the solution, it can be changed into solute and solvent again. So that is why this change can be reversed back, or we can regain the substances, or we can get the substances after heating it, after making the solution and after heating it. Those changes are known as physical changes, because we can get salt again. First, we are going to dissolve salt in water. After dissolving it will make a solution. And after the heating it, again that solution can be changed into water and salt. So thus we can get salt again. So this is dissolving the substance into a liquid, is a type of another physical change. So this is how we can explain physical changes by taking various examples. So hope it is clear to you. Any doubt, any difficulty if you have, you can write in the comment section. And for further notification, you can subscribe and like this channel, and easily you can get notification. Thank you so much. Have a good day.